My name is Benjamin, and I'm the contracts manager here at Clean Ethics FM, and I'll be your host for this session. And of course, joining me here today is the pioneer for the Go Green campaign, which is officially being launched through this webinar, Mr. Vincent Umera, the bid and proposal manager here at Clean Ethics FM. Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. It's a pleasure being here.
Perfect. So everybody, welcome to our webinar session titled Clean Spaces, Green Futures, Practical Sustainability for Schools and Communities. Today's discussion is about moving beyond routine cleaning and looking at how hygiene, sustainability, and community impact can work together in a practical and realistic way. And of course, to begin, I want us to reflect on what really this is about. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Vincent, what really is the Go Green Up campaign about?
Thank you very much, Benjamin. The Go Green initiative really stemmed from our belief as a company, and we believe that spaces we clean shape the futures that we build. And because we also believe that a classroom or an office, or be it a community facility, is really just not a physical space for us, but an environment that influences health, productivity, and well-being in the long term. So our conversation today about this initiative basically centers on how individuals can move from routine cleaning, not just individuals also, but also service providers can move from routine cleaning to responsible cleaning, where sustainability, hygiene, and community impact work together and not just against each other. The initiative also dwells on practical sustainability, which shows how schools, communities, and facilities managers can realistically do things that maintain a healthy environment, while most importantly, reducing all impacts that we have on the environment. Because the initiative is really not just about cleaning differently, it's about your mindset. How do you think differently? Because at Cleanetics, we are always very passionate about sustainability, which is like a core foundation of our ethics. I always say we are very obsessed about sustainability because that's the first thing we put in place before carrying out our services. But the initiative is also about health, is about hygiene, is about the future we are trying to shape for the next generation. Because we have to understand something that is very key for us. That is the way we keep our spaces sends a clear message. It reflects our values as an organization, as communities, and also when we prioritize cleanliness that protects both people and the environment, we are actively shaping a healthier, more responsible future. Cleaning spaces lay the foundation for a green future in the long run and for a green tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. One of the things that I love about Clean Ethics here at Clean Ethics is that we believe that the spaces we clean influence health and well-being and long-term outcomes. So
Yeah.
classroom, offices, community facilities are not just buildings; they are environments that shape behavior and we experience. So today, really, I believe is about how we clean responsibly and not just effectively. Yeah. So we often hear the term green cleaning, but it can sometimes feel vague or overly driven by marketing. Many organizations want to do the right thing, but they're unsure of what eco-friendly cleaning actually involves in practice. So my question here would be, what does eco-friendly cleaning really mean?
Yes,
Uh,
thank you very much
and
for that.
how can organizations be confident that it is both credible and effective?
I think the first thing first we need to do, we need to understand how we redefine cleaning itself. Because and from my own perspective, for many years, I had the understanding that cleanliness was basically measured by smell, the use of strong cleaning chemicals, and also overpowering fragrances. And also, I can even put in place the use of aggressive disinfectants in our cleaning procedures. But going forward, I tend to understand now that this approach comes at a cost, and that cost is our indoor air quality, and also the impact on our health, personal health, and the environment. And working with Cleanetics has really changed my perspective because it's redefined what I understood by the word clean. And this perspective has changed to achieving high hygiene standards without necessary harm to the environment and without necessary harm to people who use certain facilities or people in that environment. Because eco-friendly cleaning focuses on effectiveness, it focuses on sustainability, and it also focuses on safety, whereby staff, children, and cleaning professionals are all protected while eliminating germs and maintaining sanitary conditions. We have to understand one basic thing here, Benjamin, that true hygiene is really not how harsh your chemicals are. It's about balance. And once you create that balance with today's technology, which we at Kinetics always imbibe in our service providing and also in our training, which you yourself can understand from the use of the Kinetics Training Academy, you can understand that sustainable cleaning is just as powerful and more efficient than the traditional cleaning that we know about. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. I think the clarity is really helpful, especially for schools that are balancing budgets, safety, and high hygiene standards as well. So I just want to go back a little, and for many years, strong smells and harsh chemicals were seen as signs that a space was truly unclean. However, we now understand that this approach can affect indoor air quality, long-term health, and the environment as well. So, um, how do we redefine what clean really means today, and why is it important to move away from harsh chemical based cleaning? So basically, redefining clean. How do we move from harsh chemicals to healthy cleaning?
Like I said earlier, we this perspective has actually changed for me, and this perspective has changed towards achieving high hygiene standards without really putting any necessary harm to the environment and to people who use that environment. But we have to understand that eco-friendly cleaning, there has been a very growing debate and growing conversation about what green cleaning means. And it's important to separate that conversation from genuine sustainability and also the marketing language itself. Because when people hear about green cleaning, they just assume that, oh, this company is trying to sell something to them, or this is like a new tech that is about to come in place. But basically, it's eco-friendly cleaning is simply about replacing, not simply about replacing one product for another. It's more of a comprehensive approach. And this comprehensive approach can be broken down into various steps. And the first step you have to take as a company who is doing an introspective review is to select products that are biodegradable and that are low in toxicity. You have to understand that these products have to be safe for the environment that you are using them in and for the people who use such an environment. You also have to understand the use and the control of your dosing systems to avoid overuse because overuse of these chemicals can impact the items that are in that environment too. And we also have to adopt systems like microfiber clothing, which are reusable clothing for cleaning that reduce reliance on too much chemicals and also reduce waste. And then finally, we have to implement methods that conserve waste, that conserve water and conserve energy by the use of our HEPA filtered vacuums or path tested equipment. But in a nutshell, eco friendly cleaning it's about efficiency. It's also about consistency and also about responsibility in the environment. Because I believe that true sustainability has a metric. It's easily measurable. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about making an intentional decision that collectively reduces environmental impacts and, more importantly, while maintaining a high cleaning standard as service providers or as individuals. We might not all be service providers, but we have to make that conscious choice that we need to imbibe the culture of eco-friendly cleaning. Thank you.
Uh, Well, that clarity is really helpful, especially it gives us a clear picture of how understanding of how hygiene has evolved in our community. And here in clean ethics, we really, really take hygiene serious, and we really promote good hygiene, from it being clean environments to clean clothes, how you wash yourself, your oral hygiene is, I think, in today is very, very important with the advanced germs and the advanced diseases here, that you keep your hygiene intact, and everything is all good and clean with yourself. So schools play a unique role because they don't just maintain buildings, and they shape habits with the kids and people in our world today, and values for the next generation. So sustainability can feel a bit overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be for people, you know. So with this in mind, I'd like to ask, what are some practical and realistic ways schools can introduce sustainability, like sustainable cleaning?
Yes, Benjamin, thank you very much. I want to draw back the keyword you said. I believe you mentioned about how sustainability can be very overwhelming, and that is actually very true. But at the same time, it's a very big misconception about the word sustainability, where it becomes so overwhelming that we think it requires significant investment or complex systems in place. But in reality, some of the most effective changes are very, very simple, and they're quite practical from my own experience. And I believe the foundation we need to start with schools, because schools are unique environments because they do more than educate academically. They shape behaviors, they shape habits, and they shape values. And when schools adopt sustainable cleaning practices, they send a silent but powerful message to students about their responsibility and how they care for the environment. So sustainability in schools doesn't require any dramatic change overnight, or it doesn't require anything that would overwhelm you, but it just requires small practical steps such as using safer and eco-friendly products, reducing waste, recycling, and also training your staff properly. And that can make a significant impact in the environment. For instance, let's break this down so that we understand how this significant impact can affect sustainability for schools, whereby we start with switching disposable wipes to reusable microfiber clothing, where we are always going to reduce waste amount of times that we use or dispose wipes that we use to clean certain facilities or certain items. When we transfer our use to microfiber clothing, we can use those clothing to at least 500 uses. Those microfiber clothing can last for a long time, whereby reducing the amount of waste that we have. And
Yeah.
also, we need to ensure that our cleaning staffs are trained, which is a very, very, very important step. And they
Mm,
are trained on the amount of dilution methods. They are trained on amount of chemicals that we use and not to overuse them. And these steps would not only protect the surfaces, but more importantly, which is something I know all organizations like to do, would always reduce costs. And another step that we can take in the mode of introspection is to introduce clearly labeled points in school grounds, whereby you understand that recycling is an essential part of creating a safer environment. So you create labeled grounds where you have recycled bins, which encourages both staffs and students to take responsibility for waste management, and you
yeah.
encourage staff and kids on proper hygiene techniques by washing their hands regularly and keeping their spaces tidy. I can remember, I think, growing up in my primary school, I remember when we had such engagements, which actually still stick to me now, in terms of how to wash my hands properly, how to keep my room and my space tidy. All those things are important things that shape or build the future for schools, build the future for the leaders of tomorrow. So by choosing sustainable hygiene practices, schools can protect their students and their health today and teach them how to protect the world that they would one day leave tomorrow, which is very important in our society today. Thank you.
Wow. And thank you so much. that idea of small, consistent changes is really important, and I really want to agree with your point, strengthen your point that schools are so important um, within shaping values. It starts from home. I say charity starts from home. It begins from home, and for many of these kids, they're in school quite often, all the time. So it's very, very important that we preach and we try and educate the proper hygiene, sustainability, so many of these values to the kids, and start to ingrain it into them from an early age. But beyond schools and communities and shared spaces face similar changes, will I say. So these environments are heavily used, so which makes hygiene quite essential. But overuse of chemicals and water can also bring about long-term issues. So my next question is, how can communities and shared spaces balance high hygiene standards with sustainable cleaning products?
Yes, for communities and shared spaces, we need to understand first and first they are communal spaces, which means they are always being used throughout the day and not being used by one particular individual. They are being used by a lot of people. And this makes hygiene in such an environment very, very critical. But it also means the overuse of water and chemicals, which can become quite harmful for the environment. So sustainability in these environments would have to focus on a smart process. And these smart processes involves using the right products in the right amounts, optimizing the cleaning schedules, and this affects basically service providers here, and maintaining surfaces in the way that they extend their lifespan. So we have to understand that things like railings, things like communal spaces or gatherings where a lot of people stay, you need to use the right products on them. And for instance, these steps can be introduced through introducing clearly labeled recycling points in communal spaces, like you do for schools too, which will encourage both residents and visitors to take responsibility for waste management. There, you can teach them the ideas of what recyclable waste are and normal waste are. You can also review your cleaning schedules as service providers by focusing on need-based cleaning rather than excessive routine and chemical use, which would make a very noticeable difference in communal spaces. I believe when communities take approaches like this, the benefits will go beyond cleanliness because they will experience healthier usage, there will be reduced operational costs, and facilities can remain functional and welcoming for longer. You wouldn't see rusted hand railings and certain communal spaces that people use. They will be in good shape and good form. But the key message here we need to understand for communities is that sustainability impacts both establishments. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It starts with very small, consistent improvements that build over time, whereby we can make our communal spaces healthier and safer to live in. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. I think that leads us nicely into the broader role of service providers. And at Cleanethics, sustainability is not just about products; it's about
Yeah.
responsibility, education, and long-term impact. So this is where the Go Green campaign initiative actually comes in. So could you explain to us how the Go Green campaign will support schools and communities in making a sustainable cleaning a reality?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. The Go Green initiative is more of a commitment that Cleanetics is making. And this commitment has to do with just doing more than providing cleaning services. I remember in a meeting I had with my CEO where she talks about how we need to understand that our services go beyond just cleaning. We are not just a cleaning service provider. We do more than that. And it represents our responsibility as corporate citizens to educate, to influence, and to lead in sustainability because that is our core foundation as a company. And once you start with that, every other thing opens up itself in a very smooth transition. And through the Go Green initiative, we are going to promote environmentally responsible cleaning methods. We are going to promote proper hygiene education, and we are going to promote awareness around everyday actions that impact the planet. Because this initiative is really not about perfection. It's more about progress. It's about a belief that we have as service providers that we have a role in shaping a healthier environment. We have a role in being more sustainable to communities, and the Go Green Initiative is a way of putting that belief into action. So while the systems we have put in place and products that we have are important, we need to understand the success of any sustainability initiative. It depends on the people that you have. You can have the best products, you can have the best eco-friendly products, the best biodegradable products, but if your staffs are not properly trained, all processes are not followed and all intended benefits are lost, which is why at Clinetics we have our Clinetics Academy under the British standards, and we trying to teach these operatives in the use of sustainable techniques of providing cleaning services to our clients. And this is why the behavioral change is very important. The behavioral change encourages and involves educating our staffs, educating the students that we render these services to, educate the community residents that we render these services to on why sustainability practices matter in all areas. We also have to make this process simple and easy to follow. We also have to encourage accountability and ownership because, like I used to say, the first step of identifying a problem is being accountable, knowing that such a gap exists. And when you know that such a gap exists and you own it, you can be able to take necessary action in executing such or clearing such gaps. And we also need to engage students and building users in the journey of sustainable cleaning. Because when sustainability becomes a part of our daily habits rather than an occasional effort that we do whenever we feel like, that is when real impact is achieved in the environment. Thank you.
That, that highlights a very it's an important point because systems and products alone are not enough. Even the best
You're right.
sustainability plans depend on people following them consistently. Behavior, training, and engagement play a huge role. Um, whether sustainability actually works and whether sustainable cleaning actually is implemented in the system. So I like to ask, why is staff training and behavioral change so critical to the success of sustainable cleaning initiatives?
Yes. Like I said, eco-friendly cleaning goes beyond the products that we use or the systems that you have in place. You need to understand that without the proper trained staffs, without the people that you imbibe these techniques on, you are not going to execute or you're not going to attain sustainability in your affairs. So you have to understand that training is very, very important. You have to make the process very, very simple and easy to follow. You have to encourage accountability and ownership. And you also have to encourage these staff members in this journey. And how do you do that? It has to do with the standards of training that you are giving them. There has to be a technique, there has to be a progress, there has to be a process in which you execute such a task. So eco-friendly cleaning has gone beyond the type of products that you use, but more importantly, what process are you taking to execute sustainability in your environment? So staff training is very, very important. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. It's clear that sustainability goes beyond uh, environmental impact and directly affects people and performance. Many
Yeah,
organizations still worry that sustainable cleaning may cost more, be more expensive, or might even compromise um, the standard of cleaning um, without by using sustainable products or using sustainable methods. So, what are the key benefits organizations can see when they adopt sustainable cleaning practices properly?
thank you, Benjamin. The benefits are quite tangible, I would say, because when environments are healthy, especially organizational environments, I believe you have fewer sick days. And when you have fewer sick days, the comfort of your staffs are improved and you tend to have better productivity. So when you reduce chemical exposure, which leads to improved indoor air quality and fewer health complaints, you can see your the activities or the productivity of your staff members increases at a very, very high level. So there are other reputable benefits which organizations that prioritize sustainability can have, whereby they can build trust with parents and build trust with staff members or stakeholders and the wider community in a case where they are seen as responsible and forward thinking organizations which are aligned with global best practices of sustainability. Ultimately, for organizations, sustainability should not be seen as an added burden. I believe, in my own perspective, it's a smart investment in long term resilience and credibility for them, whereby people that you work with or people who you render services to see you as a responsible company, see you as a forward thinking company, a company that is also aligned with global practices around the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is really insightful. It's really giving me a lot of insight, and I really appreciate it. But that brings us to a bigger picture. Facility management sits at the center of operations, connecting cleaning, health, and safety, waste management, and efficiency. So, when sustainability is built into these systems, the value extends far beyond the day-to-day cleaning and day-to-day operations. So, how can facility management help organizations see sustainability as the long-term value rather than a short-term cost?
Thank you very much, Benjamin. That's a very good point there. Facilities management, I would use our company as as an example. Clinetics, as you well know, we sit at the center of operational sustainability, which is a very important foundation of our service rendering, because we connect cleaning with other critical areas. We connect cleaning with waste management, energy efficiency, and health and safety compliance, which embodies the idea of facility management. So this means that we are not just a company that maintains buildings, because we influence how those buildings operate as systems, because we align cleaning practices with broader sustainability goals, where we can transform environments into spaces that are not only clean but are safe and also resource efficient and, importantly, environmentally responsible. So this strategic positioning puts Clinetics at a center of operational sustainability, which, like I have said before and I've repeated countless times, it's a core foundation of our service provision, basically. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That really reframes the conversation around cost and value. As we start to bring today's session towards a close, I would like to focus on action. Awareness is important, but real impact comes from what happens next. So finally, to ask, what practical steps should organizations take after today's session to begin to improve their sustainability journey?
We need to understand that, first, like my dad used to say, the first step to understanding what they call it, the first step to solving an issue is understanding the problem. What is that problem you have currently? And that boils down to awareness, because awareness is only valuable when it leads into action, because it's not just about knowing what the issue is. What steps are you taking to solve that issue? And I believe the most important step to do is a deep reflection. As a company, as a school, or as an organization, you have to do an introspection by reviewing your current practices. What are you doing right and what are you doing wrong? And you ask yourselves the right questions and identify areas in your organization where you feel there can be improvements or systems can be changed. And whether it's transitioning to eco-friendly products or training cleaning staffs more effectively, or also engaging students and community members in hygiene awareness, if that's the industry you're operating, you have to understand that the future is shaped by the decisions that we make today. And sustainability cleaning starts now. So by choosing sustainability cleaning practices now, we are making the conscious decision to contribute to cleaner spaces, and also making the decision to creating healthier people and greener futures.
Thank you so much. Um, Thank you so much today for your insights. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. So, uh, I would like to ask if you have like a closing remark, some advice, something small for us to go with as we come to the close of this session.
Yes, yes. I'm just going to leave you with a very, very simple but important thought, and that is we have to understand that every space that we clean, whether you're a service provider or you're an individual or you operate in whatever industry you operate in, you need to understand that there is an impact that goes beyond what you can immediately see. And that impact affects the health of people using it. The impact influences behaviors and habits, and it contributes in its own way to the wider environment. So the choices that we make today, no matter how small, no matter how little, can shape a cleaner and healthier environment and can also create sustainable futures. So we need to understand that clean spaces truly lead to green futures, but only when we approach cleaning with intention, responsibility, and a long term perspective. So I would say thank you so much, and I look forward to any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so actually we're going to move quickly to a little Q&A session. I already have a question here which asks, is eco-friendly cleaning as effective as traditional cleaning?
Yes, eco-friendly cleaning is quite effective, but the most important point you have to note is implementation. So when eco-friendly cleaning is implemented correctly, is really not just as effective. It's, if not more so, is more better than the traditional methods of cleaning. But the key difference here lies in using safer, well-formulated products rather than the old techniques that we use. And we need to understand here that the effectiveness of eco-friendly cleaning comes from how cleaning is done, not just the products that you use. So the most important key point here you have to understand for effectiveness is the implementation or the processes that you use in executing the type of cleaning that you're doing.
Thank you so much. We have another question here. So, will switching to sustainable cleaning increase our cost?
It would appear that way initially, I would say, to be honest, it would appear that way initially, but in practice, I would say it's a very good long term investment because it leads to cost savings. When you reduce chemical usage and you reduce a lot of waste in the environment or and use long lasting materials and improve staff efficiency, it will all contribute to lower long term costs. And I believe it's more of a strategic investment than an added expense, to be honest, because at the end of the day, when you're looking in the long run, you are saving a lot of costs by using this, reducing chemical usage and reducing waste in the environment, whereby you are not thinking about the processes at which you can start disposing this waste or looking at how you can start changing facilities that you have been using for a long time due to crude cleaning chemicals. You are saving costs in the long run by engaging in sustainability cleaning.
Okay. Yeah, so once again, you guys can, of course, put your questions in the chat. This is a Q&A session, so he will ask. So there's a quick question in the chat. Say, how quickly can organizations expect to see results if they adopt this approach?
It would it would appear that way initially, to be honest, but I believe you need to start small and you need to focus on high impact, low cost changes. For example, when you switch to reusable cleaning materials like microfiber clothing and you improve your segregation of waste by recycling, and also remember when I stated about the processes that you use, and by the key important process is by training your staffs properly on the efficient practices. That can make a significant impact or significant difference without requiring large financial investments, which would also save costs for you in the long run.
All right. We have another one from Mr. Shola here who says, how can students or the community be involved in this initiative?
Yes, the first thing first we are going to do as Cleanetics is to make sure that we use engagement. Engagement is a very important key point here. We are going to engage students by introducing schools to awareness programs and recycling initiatives. We might start very, very small, but we are looking at a very long term student led sustainability project. And the most important thing is involving people, because I believe when people feel more involved, they are more likely to adopt and sustain environmental responsible behaviors. So we're going to make it fun and exciting for students and communities. We are going to lead awareness programs, hygiene techniques, and recycling initiatives, whereby we would create an inclusive student-led sustainability project. And that way we are going to bring them together and improve their behaviors in adopting environmental sustainability techniques in the long run.
Thank you so much. I'm loving these questions coming in. So thank you guys. We've got another one coming that says, why should we partner with a company like Clean Ethics?
Yes, Clinetics, it's a professional company, and a professional partner will bring expertise, will bring structure and consistency for us. Because at Clinetics, we really don't just deliver cleaning, we implement systems that ensure sustainability is practical, and we create a system whereby we have a metric where sustainability is measurable. We can tell you how you have grown from point A to point B. We can tell you where you were at, let's take, for example, where you were 2 months ago and where you are now engaging in these sustainability practices. And we are going to align all these processes and all these systems with your organizational goals, because we want to make your organization stand out as a sustainable organization, as an organization that engages in global practices. So that way, we are bringing professionalism to you, we are bringing structure to your organization, and we are bringing consistency in those sustainable practices for your organization.
Thank you so much. I think we'll just take a few more questions here. I've got one that asks, how does the Go Green initiative make a real difference?
Yes, the initiative is more about combining responsible service delivery with awareness and education. It's an initiative where you make a conscious decision as an organization or as an individual to embed sustainability in your daily operations. It's really not about a trend. I know people might see it as, oh, maybe you're trying to join the bandwagon, but it's not really about a trend. It's about setting a standard for yourself as an organization. So this initiative is really going to make a difference in terms of creating sustainability service delivery in whatever industry you're operating, and is going to create a very strong awareness for us, and is going to educate us in the techniques and systemized processes we need to engage in sustainable cleaning.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll give a one last opportunity for any question to come in, if there's any more questions, and then we can have one more question. And I've got one here. How can we convince clients to choose green cleaning over traditional cleaning? I think we, yeah, I think, yeah. How can we convince clients to choose green cleaning over traditional cleaning?
Um, the most important thing is we use the word awareness. We use the word awareness in the sense that we need to make sure that these communities understand the benefits, understand the importance of why we do what we do, the importance of creating a sustainable environment. We need to make sure that they understand these processes, and we need to make sure that they understand what the current situation is on ground, in the sense that they need to understand where they are currently, if they have any certain issue with their systemized traditional way of cleaning, and how they can improve that process in the long run, and the benefits of that process. So we need to make them understand that, create that awareness. We need to engage them in the fact that they're not just doing this for they're not just doing this to be known as a sustainable organization or to be known as an organization that engages in global practices, but they are doing this in the sense of creating a healthier environment, not just for themselves, but for other people that use such a facility or such an environment.
Thank you so much. I think that really wraps it up. Thank you so much today for your time, for your insights. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. Really, really appreciate you coming here today, Vincent. I think everybody, even my, including myself, we've learned a whole lot about the green, about this new initiative that has been brought into by Cleanethics. I'm really, really excited to see where this leads to. And honestly, I'm really thankful to everybody else here that has joined in, that has listened, and has just that's about to join us on this wonderful journey that I'm very excited for. So definitely, I know there's more things that's going to come out of the Go Green campaign. Probably we'll have more webinars, more talks like this, more practical things coming up. So please, uh, everybody should just stay tuned, and they should also be expectant for the Go Green campaign. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you for Vincent once more for joining. I think that wraps it up with the
Thank you very
webinar
much.
today. Thank you, everyone. Okay,
Thank you, Benjamin.
thank you so much.